Like the discovery of electricity, we dream first. Chase one dream with the Dream Millions lifestyle, scaffolding our way to the top. And oh
Okay,
yeah,
y'all.
it's
Today
the
is
podcast.
episode 4. It's on manifestation. Today we have a special guest. She's been a neighbor of mine for a long time, and we ended up in the same spot where we at now. And she's a business owner now, mom. Um, she has a regular day job, wife. I'm telling you, she's the epitome of what an entrepreneur and what a mother and wife is. And her business is Speak to Me Expressions. Um, Please welcome Miss Jarnesia Parsons. What's up?
Hey, hello everyone. Thanks so much for having me, Jeremy. Oh my goodness, this is exciting and being nervous at the same time. But I do appreciate you for inviting me to this platform, just to share a little bit about who I am and how I got started. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You already know, man. And yo, I'm telling you, it's a podcast. It's relaxed. Like we not. The thing about it is, what podcast, there's no rules, you know what I mean? So it's not like, it's not like you're in a production studio, so it's kind of just getting you prepared for when that does happen, um so like I said, it's free form, right?
Right.
you know
Right.
um so let's go ahead and get started. Let's jump right in. Okay, so speak to me expressions. How did you come up with um this brand in general? Like, what is it that motivated you to get to that level of saying, okay, I'm ready to start Speak to Me Expressions? And I'm not trying to complicate the question, but how did you get there, and then how did you come up with the name?
Okay, so Speak to Me Expressions is my business name, and actually started officially started in July of 2020,
Mhm.
and I wanted to ultimately going into 2020, I declared multiple streams of income. So I just manifested all 2020. I just would just randomly say multiple streams of income. And unbeknownst to me, it attracted itself to me. I always had a desire to have and to have and create t-shirts, right? So around October 2020, I got myself a machine, I got myself the equipment, and these things just started happening.
Mhm.
So I knew that again, I knew I wanted to do a t-shirt business, and I wanted it to be called Speak to Me Tees.
Mhm.
That was the initial, process of how it's supposed to go. But God, I wasn't following God's plan, so God was like, no. So Speak to Me Expressions was created because I thought, outside of God's will, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be doing a little bit of everything. I'm gonna be doing photography. I'm gonna be doing t-shirts, and I'm gonna be doing logos, and I had all these ideas for myself.
Yeah.
And so I didn't consult God on that at that time. So I was like, okay, Speak to Me Expressions. But after God, sitting me down, it's like, wait a minute, hold on, you need to talk to me about this. So
Mhm.
I had to put pause. And so Speak to Me Teas,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's what I want to go with.
Mhm.
But at this point, my business was Speaks to Be Expression. So I'm like, okay, God, I need you to help me.
Right.
And so ultimately, it came down to my spiritual walk with God.
Mhm.
Like as a young child, I've always kind of been, they used to call me Holy Roly in school. So I've always had a hunger and a thirst for God.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until my adult years and into college where I kind of just went astray.
Mhm.
And over, during the pandemic, being in the house, I had opportunity to reflect and had opportunity to spend a little bit more time with God. And he was able to talk to me and like, okay, I need you to get yourself together. And so I had a, um, I had a, what people would call an impartation, like, it was just me and God.
Mhm.
And God spoke to me And I knew right then he was telling me to come alive, like come alive again. Be you that girl that you were. Be that girl who had a hunger and a thirst for God. Be that girl who would go out and pray and encourage. Like I knew that there was more that was required of me, but I
Mhm.
wasn't doing it. I would go to work, come home, and I would ask God, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing? What is it? What is it? What is it? What's my purpose? What's my niche? Like, help me, God. And so, okay, boom, July. July through October, I'm up here I was doing cups for people. I was doing wall decor and all these things, calling it speak to me expressions.
Yeah.
And that wasn't my niche. That wasn't what God wanted me to do.
Mhm.
So speak life. Speak life is my brand. That's the t-shirt brand. It's speak life. Ultimately created to remind, to encourage, and empower, and to um, let you know that you speak life over any and everything. Use your words. Your words have power. And so as a child too, like I will always write things. I will always just, have this crazy imagination and not knowing what I was doing at the time. But as an adult now, I know I was manifesting. I was writing things that I wanted. And so that's kind of how it's a long story of how I kind of got started. It's like so many pieces to that. But ultimately my spiritual walk with God was not what it was supposed to be. And I had to come alive. I had to, get myself in alignment.
And that's usually how it works. That's them, that's how God move us, and they always say, faith without works is dead, and once we get caught up in our daily routine and stuff like that, we kind of lose track of what it is that our purpose is. Like because we already know that it's understood that our purpose right now is, being parents, being, you know, husband and wife, and and being a great daughter and all of this stuff, that like that's understood, that's a but other than that, when it comes to everything else, like especially what your true purpose is, which is this here, because I'm telling you, I've seen a new Janesia when this as this started coming out, and um and again, seeing the smile and seeing the happiness, and I'm telling you, like the setup is dope, like because again, everybody needs to speak life, because if you're not speaking life, then what's the opposite of life? Is death. So,
Right,
and
right,
and so that's, I'm glad that God touched you to give this to the world, because it is needed, super needed. My story is somewhat similar. Like I had that talk, the heart to heart with God as well, with Dream Millions, a while, like a long time, about 5 years ago. And one day, it was called Dream Millions, and I had like in this young guy, and I had it with a Z or something like that, right? And so it was Dream Millions with a Z. And this young dude one day, like I was like showing like my friends some of the gear I made, because I did like a baseball jersey. Young dude was like, "Man, is it all about money, man, to you or whatever?" And I was like, "Dang."
mm-mm,
I was like, "Man, I had to reflect, even though it's not about money at all." I had to reflect and be like, okay, I had to have a sit down with God, and that's when it came to me. It was like, okay, Dream Millions is the perfect name, it's the perfect brand for you, but instead make it to where it's chase one dream until everything transpires, right? So that's more of the philosophy of what the brand is. And again, like I said, that young dude that day, um his name is Prince Jaleel, matter of fact. And we was I was just doing like a little, I was just talking to my friends about it. When he said that, when he was like, "Is it about money?" I was like, "No, it's deeper than that. It's about, like, it's kind of similar to yours. It's speak life, so it's like manifesting your dreams, because as you know, like we have these millions of thoughts to go through our head daily,
right,
and some are good, some are bad as we go along, right? And God literally, I feel like God lets that happen sometime, so you can see all of the things that God can do for you as you're moving along. So in the midst of that, it's like, okay, we had to, like you said, we had to get in solitude and have that heart to heart conversation where we don't have these thoughts going on our head, so that literally he can be like, all right, look, this is what makes you happy, and then this is
Mm-hmm.
what, just break you down, right? Not breaking the
Right.
business down, breaking you down,
Yes.
and to build you back up to then now, you have speak life expressions, and then, you know then you have like the t-shirt part. So it's dope, and again, I commend you because, you know um it's, as you know, it's a tough thing or whatever when you get in there, but it's gonna be so fulfilling in the long run whenever
Mm-hmm.
you able to, you know when you're able to make this like your full-time thing. Oh my gosh. Telling you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still trying to get there too, but
Right, right, right.
but
And see, for me with that though, the reality is I'm a social worker by day.
yeah.
And I love social work. Like I've always wanted to be a social worker. And I never want to leave my position as a social worker. So
Right,
like I always want to be active in the field
right,
because that's ministry for me as well.
right.
And so, with the t-shirt business now, I just ask that God, give me that balance. And I call this to my daily routine. Like I manifest, like I will be structured, I will be balanced, I will have a routine, like I won't get overwhelmed. And see, with those things, I'm finding the more I speak those things into my being, to my environment, to my call that into my space, into my spirit. Like I need balance, God. And
Right.
it's a lot of work, like you said earlier, being a mom and being a wife. And I'm definitely appreciative of my husband and my support system, because if I didn't have them, I would really be, you know, all over the place.
Right. 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 It's like I said, I really feel like God don't make mistakes in anything in anybody's life because it's all for a reason, and that's I mean, because in the Bible, they say that your faith has to be refined by fire, right? You remember that it speaks on that in the Bible, like your
Hmm.
faith needs has to be refined by fire, right? So, like with okay, so with my brand, adversity is one of my pillars, right? And adversity is one of the pillars because I feel like we have to literally go through that so we can build the true character of what it is that we are, that what God made us to be. Because we are going to go with everything we do, we're going to go through adversity, like if it's even if good or bad, you know what I mean, you're going to go through some type of adversity, um and again, like I said, it's about at some point, like it's showing you your true character of who you
Hmm.
are, like because I used to do the same thing. I used to write down my manifestations on my board at work,
Hmm.
and people would come by and ask me, they'd be like, oh, what is this right here? Oh, I was reading that quote behind you and this and that. And it just kind of opened up it kind of it like it opens up like another door for people to get to know you personally.
Right,
And
right.
again, that's why I really feel like like I keep commending you on what you have because I love it, because it's going to allow for people to be like, I love that shirt. What is it? What's the meaning behind this and this? Like some of the other stuff that you have, and then it's just going to allow for them to be able to wear it, feel it, and do it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yep, yep. And ultimately, with it, I just wanted to be able to encourage,
Mhm.
inspire, and remind. Like that's all.
Right.
Like, if it can just do that one thing, and I'm manifesting it, and I'm praying that God, whoever wears my shirt,
Hmm.
whoever reads it, just remind them and let them know that their words have power, that anything that they say, it attract itself to them. Like I just want everybody to be on what I'm on right now, because it's really dope. Like the fact that we have this much power, and we don't even use it. Like the fact that my tongue is a weapon, and I'm empowering my son, my husband. Like I'm even trying to teach my 3-year-old daughter at this point. Like, look, you are beautiful. I want you to say it every day and believe that you are beautiful forever. You know what I'm saying? Like I told my son, I have a 17-year-old son. And so, he's been seeing me in action and working and things like that. And so, of course, he's, interested in knowing, and I educate him on like what I'm doing. And so it had got to a point where he was like, okay, like I think like I like this. And so he had started manifesting about a month ago. He wanted to manifest that he would have a 3.0 GPA by the time he is a senior in high school, which is next year.
Mhm.
And so he was just like manifesting it. And at the time that he started his manifestation of that 3.0, he was at a 2.5. Now,
Yeah.
mind you, this was like a month ago. And just a couple of weeks, he looked at his GPA and it was a 2.9.
Ooh.
And I'm like, it blew me because at this point we just trying to well, I know we can't figure out God, and that's the thing, because he has so much power. Like he does things to blow our minds. So we were like, wow. And so it really hyped him up where he like, okay, I'm about to be manifesting everything. And so he was in the store like, Mom, you think I can manifest a job? Like he really wants a job right now.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, do it. Say it. Where you want to work at, write it down, speak it every day, put it in your room, put it in your mirror. Like, I want to work here. And you have to say it and you have to feel it and you have to put yourself there, son. So we'll see what happens.
Right. I'm telling you, it like you said, it is a powerful thing. Just like with your son, 2.9 is right there, and
Right.
and the book that I came up with, it's called Manifesto, right? Ironically, and again, it just like you said, when you write it down and you read it every day, it it's like God sees that once we write it down, right? And it's like something, it's like the world kind of like transpires to allow for you in those words that you put down on paper, or if you wrote it on a board or put it in your phone, it allows for like the world to transpire to make it happen. And the more detailed you get
Mhm.
about your manifestation, the more that it's going to come to life,
Yeah.
um one person I always like, he's one of my favorite actors, right? I don't, Jim Carrey, right? Jim Carrey, before he did Dumb and Dumber 1, he like before he started acting and stuff, right? Like I guess he was doing like little stuff here and there, but it wasn't like anything on a large scale. He had wrote a check for like $10 million, right? And he put acting services rendered, right?
Mhm.
So he didn't even really get detailed, but he
Mhm.
wrote the check and he put it in his wallet, and he just worked on his craft and just did what he's supposed to do.
Mhm.
And it got to a point where the check started to crumble, right? And he had wrote down the date. He had put the exact date whenever this check could be cashed, right? The day before the date that was on the check, he came up with Dumb and Dumber, got the contract with Dumb and Dumber for 10 million.
Wow.
And so I look at it like, I look at it like, we like you said, our tongue has so much power that we do not realize what's going on, because and I really um and we have to filter even what we look at too, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
We got to filter all that, because it's like,
Yes.
if you manifest this thing, I feel like God wants you to, he wants you to do the things exactly like what you said that you want to do, because again, like I said, faith without works is dead, right? So if you're not working towards your manifestation and you don't have faith that it's going to happen, it's not going to happen. Even if you have that little bit of, negative thought that's like, I don't know, I don't know. It's, and you be sitting there wondering like, why can I make this happen? Why can I get through that threshold of what
Right.
it is I'm trying to do? Because in that little conscious in your head, which is, you know,
Yep.
that negativity, it's blocking you from getting through the door, and you kind of like set yourself back because these other things start to happen, right? And like I said, until we mess around and just stop thinking about it, because they always say let go and let God in.
Mhm.
We got to let go and
Mhm.
know that those manifestations are going to come true.
Mhm.
Yeah, because yeah, it's super real, man, and I love this conversation because I had when I had got to a point one time before where I was like I try not, you try not to worry and stuff, and so you just try to just move according to how God, you know. So
Right.
like again, I would play basketball a lot, right? And my freshman year in college, I was playing ball one day, and this is no BS. I was playing basketball, and I go through the lane, and somebody scratched me from my wrist all the way down to like the bottom, close to my elbow. And when I tell you, like it was an ugly cut, and in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna be okay. I'm not even gonna worry about it. Like, Lord, don't let it get infected or anything. Like, and I went to the bathroom, I put alcohol on it, Neosporin, and I
Right.
did not think about it. I did not think about it, right? Because I already talked to God. I said, God, help this get healed. I didn't think about it. And when I tell you, Janisha, like when I tell you that the cut healed in 2 days, 2 days. And this no BS, 2 days. The next day after I did that,
Mhm.
it started scabbing up.
Mhm.
Then,
Mhm.
I peeled the scab off, put a little bit more alcohol on it. It was healed the next day.
I
And
believe it.
and I just look at like that manifestation is so real,
So
And
real.
I wish that our community, I wish that we can really start to hone in on that. And you know, I I
Right.
didn't mean to kind of switch the subject matter like
Oh
that.
no, you
But
good. You good. Like I'm definitely there with you. Like because I was just saying the same thing the other day. I was like, I don't have to have a headache if I want to.
right,
Like I can speak to that headache and tell that headache to leave. And if I believe it and if I start acting like that headache is not there, don't think on that headache's gonna be gone. Like
right,
it's just the power that we have. It's the
exactly,
power that we have. And manifestations, I think you kind of said touched on it a little bit earlier. It's just a basic proof of reality, like something that it goes hand in hand with faith.
right,
And if you're not a believer, then it won't I want to say it won't work
right,
because you have to believe. You need both wings. You need to have faith. You have to believe and you have to put yourself in it.
right,
And sometimes people have they struggle in their faith, and that was me. I've struggled in my faith before, but we have to understand that faith is the substance of things hoped for and things evidence of things not seen. So you have to imagine being like, for example, I wanted a house. We wanted a house. We wanted to buy a house, and we manifested that we wanted to buy a house. We wrote it down. You know, we of course our faith wavered in the process. I ain't be gonna lie. I ain't be gonna sit here and act like we had the faith and we manifested and we just believe. No, we wrote it down and our faith wavered several times, but we had to remind ourselves and renew our minds in this process and cast down those thoughts and imaginations that were coming against our manifestations.
mhm,
So we had to write down where we wanted to live, how many bedrooms we wanted to have. We had to write down the colors. Like we had to be so detailed and we had to put ourselves in that place. And when we found the house that we want, we imagined it. Like we're in that house. I imagined where I wanted to decorate things, where I wanted to put my couch. And you have to do those things because manifestation is the proof of reality. It's you putting yourself in there. And so we manifested a house. Like we wrote it down in 2019. Didn't know how it was gonna happen. We didn't have no money, no down payment money. We had nothing.
wow,
But we manifested it. And because we have power within us, given from our Father, then anything that we want, we can have. And so when we put our faith where it was supposed to be, it happened. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
wow, that is wow. You know, that's powerful, yo. You know, you said y'all didn't even have the down payment, and
We didn't have the down payment.
it's still you still got it. And again, people always look at things and say, "Oh, I'm in this situation and I can't get out." And that's not necessarily true. You know, even people, back, in the rough parts and stuff, it's like, don't let this take you away from your faith. Don't let this stray you away from what, still have faith, because at some point you're going to get out of this. If that's going to college and getting out, if that's, your parents move, getting out, you're going to get out of it. And, and God's always going to have our backs regardless. Like, even when we think that, even when we had those doubts sometimes, as long, if God still knows that you're having doubts because you see other people around you, but your heart is still with me, he's going to pull you away from the bunch, right? Not literally, but
Mhm.
spiritually. He's going to pull
Mhm.
you away from the
Mhm.
bunch,
Yes.
because
Mhm.
you get around people sometimes, they say birds of a feather flock together,
Mhm.
but that is true, but it's not, because I really feel like sometimes, those birds that aren't supposed to be with the other flock,
Mhm.
like at some point they will, God will pull them away from that flock that they're not supposed to be with. You know what I mean? If that
Right.
makes sense.
Right.
So, you know. Okay. So I wanted to ask you a question. So within your business, how do you, how do you manage your time for the most part? Like, I know that's a huge thing for, business owners and stuff, and they we feel like that time management is a tough thing to do. How do you actually manage yours?
So I'm still working on it, as I kind of touched on earlier. But what I do now, I'm just able to focus my time on my 9 to 5,
Yeah.
strictly. So if I'm supposed to be working, then I'm doing my 9 to 5 in
Right.
the during the day, and after 5 o'clock, I could do my business. Now
Right.
it does get tricky because it's like, okay, you have to spend time with your family at the same time. So what I've been able to do, okay, I need to write down a schedule. So if I write down a schedule, if I write down, what I need, my to-do list, so I'm starting to just write everything.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person, like, I love to write everything down anyway.
Mhm.
And so writing down a to-do list, almost like a daily schedule for myself, that's what helps me. Now it does, like, the business part of it does like get in the way sometimes of me stepping away from the computer and spending time with my family, but I have to work on that discipline, of making sure that I step away and spend time with my family, which they understand. Like, they understand, but it's the principle. Like, you need to spend time with your family, and at the same time. So
Right.
I'm able to basically do it by setting a schedule, and setting boundaries.
Yeah. Well, that's excellent. Um, and because to-do list to save your life. Ooh,
Yes.
yeah, uh because the reason why I asked that is because, like I said, a lot of business owners and stuff like that, or people that want to start business, that's one of the big things. They like, how do I manage my time, um for me instance, like for me, for example, I use, like, I'm more than likely, I try to spend like an hour or so, a day, and to just, you know, manifest, write down my plans. To I go in and touch my business plan, restructure some stuff here and there and there, um, work on a website here and there, and then, like, as you just keep on chipping away at it, you know, you start to see the progression and stuff. Um, somebody told me one time before, there was like, um, they said that, they said basically business is like an elephant, right? And you have to learn how to, you can't eat an elephant whole. You know what I mean? So he was like that it's like an elephant, and you literally had to take it piece by piece, until just be like, okay, an hour a day. Okay, I'm gonna eat this part. I'm gonna do this part. I'm gonna do this part. Okay, cool. That's done. Okay, next day, take your time and progress, because you know a business is a business, and just a any hobbies that people have. It's like a very important thing, to them in general. And so, yeah, just we gotta, like you said, we just gotta keep chipping away at it, and sooner or later, everything would just be flowing. You won't even have to write a schedule down. It'll just be flowing because everybody in the household knows, okay, from 7 to 8, look, don't play with Janisha. You know what I mean? It was like, she gotta, I'm, unless it's something that needs to
Right.
be done, but
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
but
And then to that, with that too, I'm also trying to like teach my son like how to work a business,
yeah,
like how to press a shirt.
right,
um and my husband, he's in business with me, but he's the back end of the business. Like he do all the like logistical stuff, like he get the bank account, the
yeah,
business account, like he do all that. Like he not the face of the business, I'm
yeah,
the face of the business, but he is like very supportive, and he's he's a part of it. But like I said, he's the back end of it, and I'm the face of the business,
right,
if that
right.
makes sense.
Hey, you
Yeah.
always need that. You always need the person behind you. Can't do it by yourself. It's
Right.
nothing's done by yourself. And that's a blessing to have that support system, for both of us to have our support system, because my wife supports me like crazy, man. Like she sits there and listens to the ideas and stuff that I be coming up with and be like, oh, hold on, I think you should structure it this way, do it this way,
Mhm.
let's do it like this. And I'm telling you, if man, without that support system, man, I don't think none of this would be attainable, really.
Mhm. Right.
You know,
Yep. Need a strong support system. Exactly.
if your people,
Yeah.
just like what I'm trying to do, I wanna
Right.
uplift them and we want to let them know that, you know, there there are people out there that care. Like we're not just gonna do business for profit. You know what I mean? We're
Right.
doing business you know, for God, basically.
Right. Right. Exactly. This is, like I said, this is ministry. It's ministry for me.
Right,
Like the fact that I can spread the word on a t-shirt,
right,
like it's dope. It's dope to me. And I'm glad that I tapped in. Like the fact that I could be able to encourage you, and you look at a shirt and you say speak life, and you're reminded instantly, oh, I can speak life over my health. I can speak life over my wealth. I mean, over my wealth, and over my home, and over my family, over my marriage, like all that, with one word.
one word.
Speak life.
Speak like
Speak life. Just speak life over into anything. And that's what I'm pushing. Like I just want everybody to speak life. Because I've tapped into I've, not that I've tapped into, like I know, how we grow up, your grandparents and everybody be like, be careful what you ask for, we just might get it. But now I'm like, oh, it's real.
yeah,
Like
right,
that's real.
right. We uh we didn't start to see that our grandparents was like super wise, and being around them and stuff, we kind of just be like, all right, grandpa, all right, grandma, I hear you, I hear you, and then we go out and do the opposite of what they said just because we just trying to figure life out,
Right. Right.
So
Right.
yeah, but now that we grown now and we got families and kids and stuff ourselves, like we get to see this now. We're like, man, dang,
Yep.
it was
Exactly.
so right,
That's
it's so right,
right. It's right. And we out there using our words in all the wrong ways, tearing people down.
right. Again, that's
Yeah.
why I said that, man. I just try to. I literally filter when I go down my Facebook page
Hmm.
and I see some of the craziness and stuff. Sometimes I just get off. I just get all the way off, and I'm just like,
Hmm.
I'm good on that because I'm seeing too much of this. Because social media now allows for people to mess around and really put how they feel about things and how they it's showing people's true personality straight up, and it's showing and so again, it's a pro and a con to everything. It's a good and a bad. So you know I promise you, I try my hardest to literally just look at all of like the positive messages and stuff on Facebook. Every now and then I do kind of go left a little bit, you know what I mean? But
Hmm.
I always come back though.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so
Yeah. That's what I think I posted something like that today. I was in, I called it Transparent Thursday because at the end of the day, I could be a little hood and I could be a little holy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saved and still dope. It's okay to be lit and to share the light. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay. So we wear off sometimes, but as long as we know how to bring ourselves back in, that's cool. That's cool. As long as our heart is right and we walking upright, I don't think we had a problem. But
Exactly.
I can I think I was sharing earlier, I was like, I could be a little ratchet, a little ghetto. I can know how to be professional and I had to turn it down. I had to channel myself.
Right. Right.
I know how to channel myself and adapt to the environment of the room.
Exactly. That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, hey, my wife, you know, my wife is the same way. Key's the same way. She, you know, it, hey, it's levels to it, man. Even, you know, eh, you know, even I mean, I don't like to say this, but even you can't. Nobody's perfect. That's all I'm gonna say. Nobody's perfect. So it's like, because we sitting here speaking the message of God and stuff like that. Don't think that that makes me vulnerable for
Absolutely.
you to mess around and come at me sideways because I'm still gonna say something.
Listen.
You know,
Listen.
you know, I'm gonna be nice about it, but it's gonna be a little bit nasty. It's nice nasty.
Nice,
So
Nancy.
you know, so it's like don't take my you know my kindness for weakness, and my faith for weakness. Like
Right.
because like I'm stronger than what you think because you can sit here and badmouth me all day. I don't care what you say, but if you touch the wrong button or say the wrong things, it's a little bit more, you know,
Mhm.
intimidating.
Mhm.
It's like, it turns, the coin turns to the other side. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's just again, that's what everybody though. Like
Right.
nobody's perfect.
Right.
Um,
Right. Right.
it's just about not taking it to that next level all the way. You know what I mean? Like because we know, we us as Christians, we know when to hold them and when to fold them. You know what I mean? Like when to hold our words and when we need to let them
Absolutely.
out. And that's the blessed part about about it and everything. Because
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So yeah, man. Again, I really appreciate you coming on here. This is episode 4, y'all, and it's about manifestation. Check it out. Check out Janicia's brand. Yo, speak to me expressions. Go ahead and cop a t-shirt from me, yo. They're dope. I already got my order in now. Um, so I got 2 on the way, and I'll probably be wearing it on the next podcast. Matter of fact. Um, so yeah, again, check her out. Do you got any last words for the people?
Nope. Thank you so much for the opportunity again to speak. And I just want people to know that you have the power to manifest what you want. It lies in your mouth. It's in your tongue. But it's according to your faith.
Right, for sure. Y'all keep your faith strong. Y'all keep speaking life. Do not speak nothing else but life over your life, your family's life, and everything that you have. Hey, blessings, my people. So Janisha, where can we find your brand at?
You can find me on Instagram and on Facebook at Speak to Me Expressions. Currently, the website will be launched on February 28th.
Okay, hey, can't wait for that. This is Dream Millions podcast. Hey, thank you, Janisha.
Thank you.